Hi everyone, we are checking in from the side of the road here in Waitomo, New Zealand. We have had Brittany with us all this week and Michael is continuing the adventure with me. Unfortunately, she's leaving in just a few hours, but we are going to talk about what we did with her this week. So, we swung by Auckland International Airport and we picked up Brittany, and this was the first time that we had seen her in a year. And then we went ahead and drove straight to the Coromandel Peninsula. We saw Cathedral, Cove, and we went to Hot Water Beach. After the Coromandel, we went down to Tauranga to see Mount Maunganui.
Mount Maunganui was one of the prettiest hikes I've ever been on, for sure. We started off going through a sheep enclosure. We went through a few shaded areas where there were dense trees, and we made our way all the way up to the summit of this small mountain that overlooks the entire town beside it. From there we could see a huge expanse of the Pacific Ocean. It was gorgeous.
That night we headed to Rotorua, which is pretty much the Maori capital of New Zealand, and also they have lots of thermal hot springs and volcanic things happening in the area.
Because of that, the entire town is fogged with this smell of sulfur, which smells like eggs. So whenever we would go into town, we would get a whiff of that.
Jason and I went to this park just literally in the middle of town. There's kind of this narrow bridge that goes through this area, all covered in water and complete smoke everywhere. It looked unreal. It was really cool.
Also in Rotorua, we went through the redwood forest. We did a Rainbow Mountain hike. We saw Crater Lake. And we also went Zorbing, which was super fun. That's only in Rotorua, New Zealand. They created it and it's the only place you can do it. It's a really unique thing. It's like a giant inflatable hamster ball that they just throw some hot water in, and then you just slip and slide around inside of the ball all the way down to the bottom.
Driving up to it, it seemed almost a little underwhelming because it was just what we had signed up for was a straight shot down the hill. So that was like, oh, okay, because next to it there's the zigzag path down the hill. That looked like a lot of fun. But we found out the more people you have in the ball itself will make it go faster. It felt like we were going so fast and it was never ending.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was incredible. I loved it. It was super fun. It was great to see their faces as we were going down.
So after Rotorua, we went to the first place that I have been already, and that was Hobbiton in Matamata. Brittany really wanted to go because I remember back in 4th grade she was obsessed with the Lord of the Rings.
I was. It was like a dream come true. So I think looking at the different hobbit holes, every single one of them was unique. Every single one of them, down to the wood, down to the details that were in the windows, even down to the doorknobs, were completely thought into.
It's always just so magical seeing those kinds of places in real life, because you see a movie and it just doesn't feel the same way unless you're actually experiencing it in person. And like you said, the detail in everything.
Things that we would have never even thought to look at were there.
Absolutely.
And then we headed off to where we are right now, which is Waitomo, home of the glowworm caves here in New Zealand. We visited 2 caves, and so we had torches, and then he said at one point, turn these off. We are not going to take any pictures, no phones, no lights. And we got in a raft, and for probably 20 minutes or a half hour even,
Yeah, I would say.
we went down like this river inside the cave, and along the ceiling it's just like basically neon blue constellations of worms.
It was so spectacular to look at because it mirrored a night sky here perfectly. It was like some of the glowworms were so bright and some of them were very dim, so it gave a very three-dimensional effect to it that was like just so awesome to see.
So next, Michael and I are headed off toward Raglan, and Brittany is headed home tomorrow. So, since this is your last stop, what are your final thoughts on New Zealand?
Well, I think Jason has said it before that, you know, he fell in love with New Zealand. For him, it felt like home away from home. For me, I think I've definitely fallen in love with New Zealand as well. Just the culture, people here are extraordinarily nice. I think at the same time, just the vegetation alone is enough to make you fall in love with this place. And overall, just the atmosphere, it's just everything is fresh, everything is beautiful, everything's growing. And there's just so much to see in such a short amount of time. And we would drive 30 minutes and the whole entire landscape would change. It was an awesome trip. And spending time with you guys after not seeing you for a year was pretty cool too. So yeah, I loved it.
All right, well, we will check in at some point in the next few weeks. Thanks for watching. See you next time.